Ms. Makhubele, thank you so much for your time.
And thank you, Titi. Thank you for having me here. I'm really, really happy to be here and to talk to you and your viewers. Thank you.
100%. Talking to you is interesting because you're coming to this as completely new.
Yes.
You're coming to this, obviously, it's your first campaign, first mayoral race.
Yes.
What will be your top 3 priorities for the city of Joburg?
Look, and I think because I'm coming for the first time as in somebody who's an outsider, but with a little bit of understanding of how the city works, because I sit as the chairperson of one of the entities within the city. Yes. So I understand the issues and the processes and what should be in the city. Our number one priority as COPE is to really put the right people in place. Hence, you see me sitting here because we believe that good governance is driven by the right people. And I have seen council, I've been in council, and the level of education, qualification, and the reasoning that is happening there, it's not desirable for a city like Joburg. This is the economic hub of Africa. And if you think about council and being a mayor, council is like the board of the city. People that are supposed to drive the economy, drive service delivery, ensure there's proper processes and report to AG, etc. So you must have a certain level of qualification, competence, so you are able to drive these things, meet with investors, bring in investment to drive economic growth. And as a mayor, you sit as the chairperson of that board. So it's important that we have the right people, the right skills, etc. That's our number one priority as COPE. And what I liked about COPE is that they don't really care whether you're a loyal cadre, what card you carry, etc. If you've got the right attitude, the right mindset, qualification, and you really want to serve, the values align. And that's how I joined COPE myself, because they said, you are fit for purpose. Let's work. This is who we are. These are our values. I resonated with that. Second priority will be to fix the economy. We believe that without really fixing the economy, we can't create jobs for our youth. We can't really provide the basic services that people want, because the money must come from somewhere. And also fixing the economy talks about really attracting the partnerships that are required, local, international, to bring in the money to be able to do what we need to do to turn this economy around. So we have to focus on that so that the economy works again. Third priority that we have is really to drive the smart city concept. Because if we don't drive technology to be at the forefront of the economy, forefront of learning, just think about what happened with COVID. The smart city concept has been in the city of Joburg for many years. COVID hits, our children in many of the townships and the informal and formal couldn't go to school for months. While you look at the more affluent areas, the suburban areas, they can connect online, they can carry on with their education. And free Wi-Fi is not rocket science. It's there, it's available. There are people that are willing to say, let's do it for the city. We'll partner with the city, take the risk. We'll earn our revenue over a period. You look at crime and GBV. We should be solving those issues with technology, because police can't be everywhere. We don't have enough manpower. But if we've got cameras that work, that connect to emergency services, to JMPD, etc., that are always watching, men will know they are being watched. Even those criminals that are trying to, rob and scare and do criminality around our city, they will be able to know they are being watched 24/7. And in that way, we make the city safer once again for our investors, for our citizens, so that we're able to now come in and work together to rebuild this city. So those are the 3 main priorities that we're going to be looking at.
Interesting. And let's speak now practical terms. How do you see yourself practically delivering on these promises?
Yeah. Look, good governance is easy. We're already doing that right now. Me sitting here with you, I'm a qualified somebody with a profession. And first and foremost, I'm accountable to a professional body. So I know that when I'm appointed to be a mayor, it's a 5-year journey unless I get reappointed. Beyond 5 years, I must go back to my profession and do what I do. So I'm not going to come and mess up here and be corrupt and not do what I need to do, because the Institute of Directors of South Africa will hold me accountable. I'm a CFA holder. They can withdraw their qualifications. So we have leaders that already we know how to put the right leaders in place that are accountable and that will not mess up, first and foremost, their own careers, because they're not political cadres,
Yes.
etc. So that one we've got covered. The economy, We've got partners and we'll continue to drive investments within the city. We know how to attract partners to come and work with us. I've done that. I was sitting as the chairperson of the South African Post Office, which is in dire strait, and we managed to attract investors, local and overseas, SMEs, etc., to come and work with us. And these were willing to invest their own money using the infrastructure of the post office nationally to drive their own businesses and in turn improving our services, and we share in the revenue. Same model as I'm sitting as the chairperson of the Metropolitan Trading Company now. We've started to implement. We've just appointed a panel of smart city service providers, local SMEs, black women, most of them which are women. And they are willing to invest their own money to say, no, we'll deploy technology here, we'll improve services here, let's share in the revenue of the city over a period. So these things are not difficult. But because the current ruling party is so fixated on tender, and that's where some people get power. Red tape, tender. And if I'm giving you a tender, I have the right to demand what I want. But if you are coming as an investor, bringing your money, suddenly I'm helpless.
Yes.
I have to work with you as a partner. There's nothing that I can ask for. So we are saying we dismantle all of those things. And we're not saying really that you can go do away with the tender process completely. Governments all over the world, they use it, but it will be transparent. It will be clean. The processes will be, auditable, etc., such that when you appoint a service provider, not because they've got relations with anyone, but it's because they're the best service provider to provide the service. Smart City, as I said, we already have a panel that I think as a mayor, I can then expand to the rest of the city and we'll roll it out.
And I mean, if you do become mayor, when promises are made, time frames are very important to your constituency as well. What kind of time frames are you looking at in terms of on delivering on the promises that you're making here today?
Look, according to our plans, when we look at really bringing in the right people and fixing the governance, etc., we're looking at not longer than 2 years. Because there are recruitment processes, we know that, and we have to then create the right structures as well to drive the new vision of Joburg. So within the first year to 2 years, we would have the right people in the right positions, and those that are not in the right positions. And indeed, you can't paint everybody in the same brush to say you came because of politics. Some of them may need to be reskilled and helped to be put in the right position where they can deliver. If not, then we'll find other ways to deploy them elsewhere. But we want to make sure that the city, at least, it's governed, it's managed, it has really the right people to drive the right things. The timelines in terms of the smart city is not long as well. Like I said to you, we already have a smart panel. Right now is to drive the project. I'm telling you, within 12 months, you will see technology all around Joburg. And you will start to see the free Wi-Fi even at schools, as varsities and libraries, etc. You look at service delivery. If we had the technology to monitor things like roads, etc., you don't need to wait 8 months to 12 months with a pothole, because those things report immediately. Technology assists to then even appoint the right service without human interference, to say there's this problem here, these are the service providers that can do the job. It's automated. Let's look at the electricity issue, for instance. Why are we having some of these issues when all over the world we can start to look at newer technologies like the independent power producers that are there? We should be augmenting what we have right now. I know the ANC says they've signed an MOU with Eskom. What does it mean? We are still being load-shedded. They've signed a week ago. It's really an election ploy, but if we are practical, that infrastructure that they have signed with Eskom is dilapidated, it's old, it cannot carry the load. And also because of some of the illegal land invasions and illegal foreigners that are adding to the load, which is one of the issues that we'll talk to shortly. But we are saying, in order to fix this problem of electricity speedily, let's look at alternative energy production. Let's look at partnerships that are willing. They are there. Some of them are knocking on the doors to say, we can produce electricity for you, and we look at revenue share. Whilst as we inherit this infrastructure from Eskom, try to fix it, etc., without hampering on the people's ability to enjoy the services. So I think it needs a different thinking altogether, and that's what as COPE we're bringing. Let's bring new leadership, younger people that are not clouded by politics and narrow agendas and infighting, that I just want to come and deliver. I want my CV to shine because I've delivered. Not because Lithuli House gives me a clap. No, I want you to look at me to say, Colleen, you said you're going to create these jobs. You've done it. That's what gives me joy, and I have served. Then I can move on to do my own business again. Let somebody else come and carry on. You know, we see it in a simple, clear way like that. And for us, within the first 3 years of being in office, you would see a vast difference, because we are just going to implement everything that we've said we'll do, and some of them are already in progress. It's just to really accelerate them.
It really does sound like you are But just lastly from my side, what exactly are you putting on the line? What do you stand to lose if for some reason you're not able to deliver on the promises that you've made?
Like I said to you, look, I belong to a professional body. I'm currently busy with my PhD in Management of Innovation and Technology. So when I speak on smart technologies and what can be done, I understand what needs to be done. And being part of that body as well, and that kind of an institution, and busy with my PhD, there's no institution that will touch me if I'm in the papers for the wrong reasons. I'm a CFA holder, Chartered Financial Analyst. I've done investments, etc., you know. And there are certain ethics and obligations that I have to abide by as a CFA holder. Otherwise, that gets withdrawn. I'm also a member of the Institute of Directors of South Africa, you know. So they also govern what we do. And for me, I've spent the past 20 years of my life building my career, you know, getting the experience that I do in leadership positions, etc. I want to still come out of the city of Joburg intact, and people must still have the same respect and credibility towards me that they have now, and want to deal with me in business going forward. So personally, I have a lot to lose. In fact, I'll be better off maybe carrying on with private business than to
and staying away from politics.
But you can't, you know, keep complaining on the sidelines. And when we, as people that have had the opportunity to be educated, to get jobs and work and get the experience that we've gotten, can do something. Because I just believe that I can be fine with my children, you know, go to private school in the suburbs. But if I don't contribute to make somebody's world better, you know, they must get a job. They must also be fine with their children. Tomorrow, they are the criminals that we have to deal with. You see, I'll die and my children will be locked in high fences and all these electronic things protecting them as if they're in jail in their own country. So I just believe that I have an obligation, and out of the privileges that I've had, to contribute to somebody also having a place to stay, decent place to stay, having a good job, being able to provide for their family, express their talents, you know, be able to reach their dreams, and share in the prosperity of the city like any other person that wants to share in the prosperity of the city. Even foreigners, by the way, we can talk about that if you have time.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully next time we can expand on that more. Yes. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you, and good luck on your candidacy.
Thank you, Titi. I really loved having being here. It's so short, but I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank